closed at the present time. They are basically trying to mandate masks in all city-owned buildings, including City Hall, ice rinks, any swimming centers, gyms, community centers, everything else owned by City Hall is trying to have mandatory masks as a result of this councillor trying to pass this motion. There are people here, not me in particular, that are trying to block this motion. They don't want to have mandatory masks 8 months later in all city-owned buildings, but that's exactly what they're trying to do here. And it's a sad state of affairs. It's just the slow rollout where you're going to have to wear masks everywhere indoors. That's what essentially they've done here. And even though Dr. Bonnie Henrys she said that they wouldn't make masks mandatory, they actually are. They're making masks as mandatory as they possibly can. A lot of private businesses have done that. Yes, it's their right to do that, but it's also our right to refuse it. And now the city of Vancouver, this councillor, Sarah Kirby, is trying to make it mandatory in all city-owned facilities which are actually owned by taxpayers. I'm not a taxpayer of Vancouver, but in any case, I'm still here just to show support and just to basically report on this, since I'm basically retired at this point. Anyways, I don't know if we can get out here or not. Maybe we can turn the camera around. Let's see if I can here. So there we are at City Hall. I don't know if we can get all this stuff and if we have the Wi-Fi strong enough.
Meeting tonight? I'm speaking.
Oh yeah, amazing.
You too?
So basically we've got hugs over masks here.
Excited people are going to talk because we have to.
Hugs over masks is here, as well as No New Normal and other folks.
That's great. You brought the banner out, huh? Good thinking.
Good thinking.
You're always on the ball.
Little small group of folks, but everybody's pissed off. Nobody wants to deal with this nonsense anymore. Everybody is tired of it.
Sorry, R-A-U-L.
Stop Sarah from forced masking 700,000 Vancouverites. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. City Hall, October 20th. That's today. Sarah Kirby-Yung. Violate people's civil liberties in Vancouver. That's exactly what they're doing right now. So there's a bunch of people over there.
You called me, eh?
Yeah, I called you before, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear my phone.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people over there.
Did you get that one? It says here, Trump hurts your feelings. I'm writing you a prescription for two testicles.
We're live, by the way.
Trump hurts your feelings. I'm writing you.
We are live. We're live, but I'm actually using the Wi-Fi from City Hall, and so I'm using their data in order to broadcast this, and that's the only way to do it. You might as well use data that taxpayers have paid for in order to show what's going on behind these doors. And actually, no one's actually in there working. Everybody's working at home, and they have been since March. They're on their computers. They use Zoom to interact with other people. And that's exactly what they've been doing for the last little while. So, anyways, we'll just go around here for a minute. Not too many people here. Obviously, it's a Tuesday afternoon. Most people have to work at the present time until more businesses closed, and then more people will be unserved. Actually, that guy over there is on EI as a result of losing his job because of COVID. So this does affect a lot of people. So in essence, the Canadian government is paying the guy with the sunglasses that you see in front of you and the baseball hat, paying him to come out here to this rally or protest. He's receiving EI and he's getting paid to protest. So it's funny how that works. It's pretty weird. Just go over here for a minute. No fear, this is the Ontario chapter of Hugs Over Masks. These guys are all over the place, all over Canada. Now they're actually all over the world. Freedom is essential. So, maybe we'll just go over here. Let's see if the Wi-Fi is working still. Wi-Fi actually is working. Mask, don't wear a mask, and now we're wearing masks there. Then it was, kind of forget, so many different places have actually mandated. And then there was a SkyTrain and TransLink, the whole TransLink system did it. And then after that, just basically all these different mom and pop shops, like smaller establishments, Lululemon, a lot of places in the malls have mandated them and so forth. So it's just continuously squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And yes, I know we can shop online and all this other stuff. That's not the point of this. The point of this is, in reality, this is 8 months later. In reality, you know, you can wear a mask if you want, but why are you trying to force other people to wear masks 8 months later when the amount of people dying in British Columbia is very, very, very low? And now it's all about cases. It's a case-demic. There's not that many people dying at all, which is a great thing. But at the same time, they're keeping the fear going. Apparently, we're in wave 2 now, Dr. Bonnie Henry said. Based on cases, sorry buddy, based on cases. So if all these cases are happening and no one's actually dying from them, which is a good thing, then what are we doing here? That means this whole thing is done and they're just testing more people and just making it seem like it's a huge pandemic when in reality it's not. Hey Vlad, is it possible to get you on camera?
Yeah,
I'm Chris. Nice to meet you. Chris, sure.
Vlad.
Awesome to see you.
You know what? We're not
good to meet you.
It's going to be short-lived.
Yeah, so I got a YouTube channel, 12,000 subscribers or whatever. But if you could go a bit back, just because
masks for all the civic buildings, right? So basically for all the city buildings, people will have to wear the masks, no exceptions. Although there should be exemptions, and we'll see how they phrase it. But for me, the reason why we're protesting it, obviously for the people that work in the buildings, they should have a choice.
Yeah,
and
of
more
course.
than anything, like I've been traveling across the country.
Yeah,
right?
you're from back east, right?
Yeah, like I live in Toronto. We go to Ottawa, Montreal, back and forward, Vancouver, back and forward. So what I'm trying to get to is there's a specific strategy that all this happens. Remember we were supposed to only do this for the 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
so,
flattened the curve for 2 weeks in March, and now we're 8 months later.
Yeah, 7-8 months later, we're still here. So what I'm saying is that's what they do. They do things in stages and gradual, so people don't revolt.
Yeah, I call it the slow rollout.
Yeah, I call it, cooking the frog. Because, right, you put a live frog in a cold pot of water, you increase the heat slowly, and the frog never jumps out and cooks to death.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
so
totally.
that's what they're doing to us. They're cooking us to death pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that this, and we're opposing it even to be in the civic buildings, but this can set a precedent for the whole city to be mandating masks everywhere.
Everywhere, in parks, all over the place, I know.
And to me, it's very sad because, British Columbia is pretty much almost the only province that's left out, that you actually don't have any mandates here at all, except for the transit link. No, businesses don't have a mandates. That's something that people It's a store policy, which means total bullshit.
It is.
Total BS.
Oh, you can swear all you want. I don't care. That's fine.
Right?
I agree.
The point is, it's a store policy. They cannot infringe on your human rights. They cannot infringe on forcing you to do a medical procedure. People need to understand, wearing a mask is a medical procedure. You know why? Because anything that alters your heart rate and actually reduces oxygen intake and ultimately alters all the functions of your body is a medical procedure. You need to have a body autonomy. You're the only person should be able
my
to
body,
choose.
my choice, like with abortion, right?
Exactly.
You can't apply to this just to abortion.
And it's part of the Nuremberg Code. Nuremberg Code is that no medical procedure should be mandated on anyone. People should be able to make a choice.
Exactly,
right? They don't have to say masks is a part of Nuremberg Code. Nuremberg Code was related to all the medical procedure. So even the businesses here, they have zero right.
They have zero right.
Forcing people to wear masks.
Yeah, totally.
And then we need to push back against that. And then even the schools, like all the children wearing masks in school. And I don't know if you know, yesterday in Abbotsford, a high school student died. And
was she wearing a mask?
They're not saying it, but I'm sorry, to me, even if she was not wearing a mask during the class, guess what? She was wearing a mask before that.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you're probably right. Because, they are mandated in school,
Well, they're forcing it. They have no rights to do that.
Yeah, totally.
But that's it. How many children have to die? In Australia, kids are dying because they're not able to travel to different part of Australia to get a life-saving procedure.
Yeah.
Like 4 newborns die. How many children have to die? Like, if you're really talking about saving lives, the COVID measures actually killed way more people than the COVID itself.
Oh,
and even
totally.
those deaths are all questionable because, as we know, they fabricate death certificates. They mark any death possible as a COVID death. The last thing I want to say to your viewers, if they don't know, last year in Canada we had over 40,000 flu cases. This year we had only 6.
6. I know. It's crazy. The whole thing is just... But nobody wants to do any homework. No one wants to do 5 seconds of research.
And I think more people are waking up. And to me, you know, the media and the government and the big pharma, they're getting desperate at this point.
Yeah, I know. Calling us racist and all this other silly stuff.
Yeah, they're getting desperate. Like, they're trying to censor the doctors, the actual doctors that actually seen patients all the time.
Yeah.
Right? And we're supposed to listen to this expert that, first of all, never seen a patient probably in the last 20 years. And second of all, they don't even look healthy to me anyway.
Yeah.
Like, the only person
yeah, I know that's true.
From is the person that actually looks like you want to be that person. Like,
exactly.
A healthy person should be giving you advice.
That just makes perfect sense to me, and I totally agree. I know it's just the whole thing just keeps going on, and people just keep acquiescing and following. I just don't understand. 8 months later, like, when's this insanity going to end?
Well,
it's mind-blowing.
I think it's ending. A lot of people, I know personally, a lot of people, they were sitting on the fence, and they're getting off the fence now on our side. And to me, that's why we have to keep doing this.
Keep pushing.
We have to keep pushing. We have to keep educating the public. You're familiar with our platform. We're all about education. We're all about empowering people.
Of course
we have education flyers on our website. We distribute them here, always. And we're actually giving people alternative perspective and narrative to the media and the government and the big pharma establishment. That, I'm sorry, the actual health advice is to eat healthy food, take your supplements, exercise, drink water, take some sunshine, breathe oxygen without no mask. Vaccines, isolation and distancing is not part of your health plan. It never was.
No, of course not. Yeah, they don't talk about any other way to get better. Just vaccines, that's it. For something that has a 99.60% survival rate.
And now they're pushing so heavily because they obviously don't have a vaccine ready for this. So now they push heavily the flu shot vaccine.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Them up. Well, guess what? People dying from flu shots now. In South Korea, I think yesterday announced, I can't remember how many, I think 4 people or more died from the flu shots. And the government is still keep rolling it out.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're not here for our best interest, that's for sure.
They're not, for sure. It's just unfortunately just follow the money, as we always say. Follow the money.
It's easy for us to see, but there's just a lot of people just don't understand and don't realize, and they just, I don't know what it is. It's weird. Like, I find it mind-boggling. It's 8 months later. You don't want to question anything. It's just completely fine with what's going on.
Some people don't, but the other people
sorry,
do.
Buddy.
Some people don't, the other people do. So yeah, we just have to keep going.
We got to just keep going. Eventually, when everybody's going to be on track. If this goes on until into 2021, it's just going to...
No, I personally think things are already turning. You know, things are really turning, I believe so. So, you know, we'll stay positive. There's a big shift already happening. We just have to keep pushing. I know a lot of things has to do with politics and elections. So election is going to be done.
Well, that's what a lot of people say with Trump.
Right? So we'll see how things turn around. Now, at the same time, you know, we have Canada, which is a different country. As you know, yesterday, they passed they didn't pass the non-confidence vote, right? So we have still at the federal level the NTP and all the other opposition basically giving free run to the corrupt liberals. Which is total nonsense.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, he's involved in these charity scandals, but he's still the prime minister of our country.
Yeah. But I think people are waking up. Like, that's just such blatant complete disregard for democracy, for the values of our country, and I think people really getting enough. Like, I'm happy those things are happening.
Me too.
Because it's actually going to expose way more.
That's what I say all the time. Exactly.
At this point, the people need to understand. For me and a lot of people in our movements, this is no longer about COVID measures.
No, not at all. Never really was.
Through that, everything's going to be changed. The big pharma, the corruption, the government establishment, all those things going to change. Because for me, at this point, that's how personal it is.
Yeah, it's all going to come crashing down. It's just a matter of time. And the more they show their hand, the more it's just going to become more and more visible. That's just it. Everything they do that they think is benefiting them is benefiting us. Mandate masks everywhere. Make vaccines mandatory everywhere. See the pushback you get in the streets.
Exactly.
They can't win a lie, because this is a basic, complete 1,000% lie.
Humanity will prevail. Again, I always say in my speeches, we've been here before. Humanity.
Yeah, exactly. We have been here before.
We won, right? So that's what we have to keep focusing on. You know, I always say evil has a chance to spread fast and fast when good people do nothing.
Exactly, but
so
now
it's important for us not to be nice people, be a good person.
Good person, but nice aggressive.
Good person. Yeah.
Non-violent.
No.
But non-compliance also at the same time.
Non-compliance for sure, but at the same time, if we want to change the narrative, we want to change the mindset of our people, we have to talk to them in the compassion and love.
Very true.
Like, and that's what I'm doing right now. I saw some people getting a little bit agitated, and I came over and I kind of...
Yeah, you're good at that. I get a little angry myself.
And I get it. It's
hard, emotional, but you're good.
Well, think about it. Like, any actions that we're taking, we need to have a goal and a mindset what we want to accomplish. If you just want to get confrontation, you want to have an argument,
it's not worth it.
That end. But if you're really committed to making a change, at least for that one person, when you come from that side, you're able to change the way you talk. Ask them questions. You know, do you know that the hospitals are really empty? Do you know that people actually dying because they're missing these cancer screening surgeries and heart surgeries. So people actually dying because of COVID measures.
Yeah.
The average life expectancy of the Canadian is 82. The average age of person dying with COVID is 86. So are really people dying from COVID or with COVID, or dying from the old age?
Yeah, it's old age. It's just the flu, right?
Yeah, and there's a few, vulnerable populations and
of course
immune system. But we had this before. We kind of survived till this year, some way, somehow, without isolations and masks. We had not just the Spanish flu that everyone's talking about, which is questionable because there were some vaccines happening then. What happened with Hong Kong flu? Hong Kong flu happened during the Woodstock Festival. When we had 2003, we had SARS epidemic back then in Canada. I'm from Toronto. Toronto government actually created a Winterlicious Festival, which encouraged people to go to the restaurants and actually...
This was in February then?
February 2003,
yeah.
Right? And then the same year, we had the largest free concert in the Downsview Park in Toronto with over 1 million people. That happened during the SARS epidemic. What's different right now?
Yeah, there's nothing. It's just this is politicized.
Yeah, this is extremely.
It's all political.
To push a certain agenda.
To push an agenda that a lot of people still don't want to believe because they just think, how is it possible to make it worldwide? There's so many doctors.
Well, follow the money. We always say follow the money.
That's the thing.
See exactly with the green movement, which completely been corrupted. We have a really good documentary I highly recommend to everybody. Is Planet of the Humans.
Planet of the Humans.
Planet of the Humans.
Planet of Humans. Okay.
Yeah. Michael Moore. It came out in May.
Michael Moore.
Discredits the whole green movement, and it's funny because he was on the left side, and everyone's bashing him now because he's actually a good journalist showing the truth.
Yeah.
That the green movement possibly definitely started with good people and with good intention, but guess what? It got corrupted, hijacked completely by globalists and corporations, and at this point it's just a money scheme. It's a complete money scheme for those people. So once you watch that movie, I was talking to the student reporter earlier this morning, and I used that example because he said, like, what do I think of young people like really believing this? I'm like, well, start questioning things.
Yeah.
And the best way to start questioning would be questioning the narrative with green movement. And I told them
climate change, the whole thing, right?
Watch Planet of the Humans, at least
Planet
see the
of
other
Humans
side, and then that can plant the seed of doubt, and then you can start questioning other things around you because things are definitely not how they presented to you, especially coming from mainstream media. There's a certain agenda that's been pushed, and if it's able to change people's mind about one aspect, they actually can start questioning other things, and that's how gradually over time we're able to turn people around. I believe so.
Yeah, well, it makes sense, and they're using this whole COVID in conjunction with climate change now. They're bringing that back into the picture. All part of their plan of Agenda 21, Agenda 30, which is just,
sustainable development has nothing to do with sustainable development. It has everything to do with control, technocracy, and all of that things. Yeah.
Shutting us down and so forth.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate everything. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Get another hug there. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that, Vlad.
I just want to, you were talking about Agenda
21 and Agenda 30.
Okay, and all that kind of stuff. Did you guys read that article that supposedly was leaked out of the PMO's office on October 10th?
Sure.
Did you read that? Isn't that wild? And it just falls in line with all that other
I don't know if I read that one. What was that about?
It just talks about the whole dismantle of our society and everything else. But
do you believe that it was leaked from the PMO's office?
You know what? I think it was actually purposely leaked, because then we can talk about it. Because the biggest war that's happening right now is a war on consciousness.
Oh, I know.
Right? So what I'm getting to is that as long as we're talking about that world, we're actually helping to create that world. So I almost want we talked about it, and now let's just dismiss it, and now let's go after the criminals, and at the same time talk about the world that we want to create.
Yeah.
Right? So, because again, at the end of the day, we're able to create the world with our intention and our actions, but it happens in that stage.
Do you believe, though, that is a plan coming from the PMO?
Well, he's definitely controlled. It's not even a question,
Yeah,
right?
he is.
And I do my best with our movement. Anything that possibly can come at us as a negative, I actually take charge of that and I turn it around. So when they want to call us a second wave, I say no, we have a second wave. We have a second wave of the civil rights movement. Right? And then they want to say all this interim camp and isolation camps was going to happen. I'm like, no, that's great because we have so many politicians and other experts.
Put them in there.
We're going to put them in there.
They're all going to stay in there.
The world. And that's it. And people's like, you think it's going to happen? Why not? Why not? We might as well use them for something, right?
Exactly.
And the ones that are not isolation, well, it's okay. We have some housing for people, like, you know, for the homelessness, like they can live there.
Yeah.
So I look at it as a positive. They already built it for something else.
Yeah.
Once we're in charge, we're just gonna turn it around.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I really want to push, like, if we want to talk about something, let's talk about Nuremberg 2.0.
Yeah.
Let's talk about holding the Nuremberg trial.
Yeah.
Let's talk about where in the world would we want to have a trial.
Yeah.
Are we actually going to hold it again in Nuremberg? Or maybe we should choose a different city.
Yeah.
And somebody said for Canada, we should use Calgary. Somebody said they build a beautiful court in Calgary, so might as well
I
use
heard
for
about that.
That's what I want to talk. Let's talk about that. Holding the proceeding to charge and hold criminally responsible
That's what I've been
all the
saying
people in
for
Calgary
months
court.
to myself.
But
right?
I just don't understand how they even think they're going to get away with this whole thing on a long-term level. It just doesn't.
Because they're arrogant. It's arrogant.
I guess they've been running things for what, hundreds of years overall, right?
Makes people blind to reality. They're completely out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
It does too.
Well,
that too.
It comes in hand to hand a lot of times.
Yeah.
So does the mainstream media.
I know.
They're all part of the same.
Seems to me what they've done here too is they've just rolled it out so slowly.
Yeah,
little
that's how you do it.
increments,
Stealth.
you
It's
know?
stealth.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
like
slow rollout.
Hopefully nobody will notice, and
Yeah.
they'll just little increments that go along.
Yeah, cooking the
with
frog
it.
slowly, right?
Yeah.
You put
But it's
it
not
in,
that
you
slow
put
anymore when
Water
you're.
increase and never
and then
jumps up.
increase it.
Like even a couple years ago, remember when there was the flu thing?
Yeah.
And on the radio, I think they said something like there's 3 cases, and all you heard on the radio, 3 cases, measles, 3 cases.
Yeah, measles.
And I'm
Oh,
like,
the measles,
I'm
yes.
like, what the hell? 3 cases.
To push the MMR shots, of
3
course.
Cases?
So that's the people who go and get flu shots.
Yeah.
But pharma, you know, the Rockefellers found out that they could basically use petroleum
Yeah.
to make pharmaceuticals.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
And that was another way of getting rich.
Yeah. Well, and
Right?
that, and then plus eugenesis and
Oh, you know,
depopulation.
eugenics.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Bill Gates' dad died, and I was talking to him the other day, and I kind of Freudian slip, and I said, Bill Gates' dad is at the gates of hell.
Yeah.
That's
No
a good
Get it?
one.
kidding.
Gates?
Yes.
The
Yes.
gates of hell.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a Freudian slip, literally.
He is at the gates of hell for sure. He is.
He was part of Planned Parenthood. He was like buddies with Margaret
Well, that's what.
Sanger.
Yeah, they just don't understand that.
Yeah, Margaret Sanger. She was a
Yeah, but like
racist.
there's so much connection. I think even dad of Johnson, the
How you doing, Alicia?
Prime Minister.
I love the hoodie. My wife wants one of those ones actually. They're nice.
Back in the day.
Oh, really?
The whole thing.
And they look really just
it's
pop
like
off really
loud.
bright.
They're whatever.
You get any flack from them? Flack wearing it or no?
You know what? I just walk around with a big smile, full of kindness.
True enough. Kill them with kindness, totally.
I say kill him with kindness.
That's the only way to do it. Keep smiling.
Well, that dude I was telling you, that guy who dressed the other day on Davey, he was like fingering us.
Oh yeah, that
Robson.
yeah.
Rob's on
It's
Robson.
live streaming, yeah.
Yeah, and he was fingering us.
Yeah.
And I just turned to him. And
Yeah, just say I said we love you, buddy. We love you. What can they say? The anger has to go down.
Oh
They
no,
can't-
it didn't. His anger just went straight up because we basically overruled him.
Yeah. It is what it is.
I'll show you that article. Like I found this article just by fluke on
Can I
Monday.
get you on camera though? Not a problem at
But
all.
I'll just show you the article. I found it on Monday. I was sitting at home all by myself and I read this.
Yeah.
So it was, the day after our weekend rally, and oh my God, I read this and I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, please read it while I stream.
Do you want me to
don't
read
mind
it to you?
Sure, why not?
Okay, it is like...
It's all about information. The more information you have, the better it is.
Apparently, it was leaked from the PMO's office on October 10th. You can record this or whatever if you want.
But not you.
Yeah, I guess you could.
It's up to you. I don't want. There's no. It's not like I'm a professional journalist. No big deal.
Okay, now
Anyways,
let me...
go ahead.
Where do I have it here? It just like, oh my God, it's just everything that we've been hearing and reading about the global elitist plans like elsewhere, but now pertaining to a particular plan from the same vein, like a coincidences to
it's all big connections. There's a lot of connections.
well, yeah,
here.
it just to just slough it off as nonsense is just worth this.
Totally, I hear you.
I mean, I actually sat yesterday and I started writing a list of everything I know for sure, everything I've read.
Yeah, backed
and
up by evidence that you've read and double check, triple check.
like in mainstream media, direct quotes and everything. I started writing a list, and it was because of this article. Okay, now okay, is this crazy? Is this leaked info really Trudeau's crazy COVID plan for 2021? You decide. Now, how I found this is I was on Ryan Kalbaba's website, actually on...
Or his website or on his profile?
on Facebook.
On his profile, yeah.
On Facebook.
So he shared some information on there.
And actually, it wasn't even shared. It was somebody in comments had a link to this article, so I clicked on it, and it brought me to this page. And I'm like, I've never heard of the CanadianReport.ca. I've never heard of them. So anyway, so I looked at it, and it apparently, okay, it's from the Strategic Committee of, well, I don't know, whatever at the top there, on Saturday 10, 2020. Dear removed, I guess it's redacted. I want to provide you some very important information. I'm a committee member with the Liberal Party of Canada. I sit within several committee groups, but the information I am providing is originating from the Strategic Planning Committee, which is steered by the PMO. I need to start off by saying that I'm not happy doing this, but I have to. As a Canadian, and more importantly, as a parent who wants a better future Canadian, and more importantly, as a parent who wants a better future, not only for my children, but for other children as well. The only reason I am doing this is because roughly 30% of the committee members are not pleased with the direction this will take Canada, but our opinions have been ignored, and they plan on moving forward toward their goals. They've also made it very clear that nothing will stop the planned outcomes. The roadmap and aim was set out by the PMO and is as follows. Okay, one point. Phase in secondary lockdown restrictions,
which is happening
on a rolling basis, starting
on a roaming basis.
On a rolling basis, starting with major metropolitan areas first.
Yeah, will make sense.
And expanding outward, expected by November 2020.
So next month.
Do it. The act or construction of isolation facilities across every province and territory, expected by December 2020. Well, they've already started doing that. There's at least 11 installations, right, that we know of.
Have they built them though, or they just actually?
Yes,
oh, they actually are built, but nobody knows where they are though.
That's right. And actually, Randy Hillier was in the House of Commons.
Oh yeah, I saw that video.
Did an interview, and it shows it in the House of Commons.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Asking the Liberals questions about the quarantine camps, installations, they would not answer.
Yeah, they didn't want to talk about it.
I couldn't believe it. I thought, are you kidding me?
That's pretty scary.
It is.
So that adds a lot of credence to the whole thing. If they're not even talking about it, like, what's there to hide? If you have nothing to hide, why aren't you talking about it?
We're supposed to be a democracy. They're not. Our governments are not supposed to hide stuff from us.
Pretty crazy. Well,
right?
it makes you into conspiracy theorists when you start seeing this kind of stuff, and they're not actually answering why do you have these? What's it for?
Yeah.
Then you just question things, and if you question things, then you're a conspiracy theorist. It's like, what do you want us to do if you're not telling us what's going on? The media lies to us. How are we supposed to know what's going on unless we start asking questions, and then you label us in a certain light, which is just completely wrong, and it's not fair.
I know.
Don't lie to us, and we're not. There is no conspiracy theorist then, obviously.
Exactly.
But that's not the case right now.
Okay, next point. After the rushed the acquisition of the isolation facilities, expected by December 2020. Then daily new cases of COVID-19 will surge beyond capacity of testing, including increases in COVID-related deaths following the same growth curves, expected by end of November 2020. Like, do they have a crystal ball?
Well, that's the thing. How do you know all these cases and everything else are going to go up unless you're implementing it or you're fudging the numbers or something?
On the ride in,
it's kind of weird.
I drove in from Richmond, and I was listening to News 1130 on the drive in. Now, they were saying on the radio, oh, we've just the last few days reached 200 cases a day. And then they had some person from Washington State, I didn't quite catch from where, maybe some university or something, with some modeling that is now saying we will have around 800 cases per day come February.
Here in BC or where?
Yes, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, like,
that's a lot.
Whatever.
It's a bit much.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the modeling thus far has been proved wrong.
Yeah, the modeling is totally wrong, but they continue using that as their guidance in order to implement the measures they're doing based on false modeling and fake modeling or wrong modeling at least.
I know.
But that's okay. We'll continue following computer modeling that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're the conspiracy theorists. We're the wrong people to ask questions. Like, when does all this nonsense end?
I know. Okay, so the next, complete and total secondary lockdown, much stricter than the first and second rolling phase restrictions, expected by end of December 2020 and early January 2021. Next, reform and expansion of the unemployment program to be transitioned into the universal basic income
the UBI,
program.
and he's talked about that. So that's not a conspiracy theory. That's a real thing. The UBI. Why would you need a UBI if you already have welfare? You already have EI. You have CERB. Why do we need a universal basic income?
And
I know. They talked about it.
And
Trudeau's brought it up many times.
See that? I got to send you that document that I copied. Well, it's from a liberal person. Did you hear about that?
That's what she's talking about right now.
That's the one where they're going to put people in camps if you don't. They're going to pay off all your debts.
We'll see if all that happens, but still, it is. If it is going to happen, it's kind of scary. If not, then I guess I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm not allowed to ask questions and so forth. This is the kind of world we live in. If we ask questions, we're a conspiracy theorist. But if we follow everything from the news, and even if they're wrong, we're okay. We're good citizens, and that's all we're supposed to be: is obedient citizens who follow the guidelines of whatever is told to us by government and by mainstream media. That's okay, but if you ask questions, you're a bad person. Don't think for yourself. Follow the crowd. Even if the crowd's wearing masks outside in the rain, that's fine. You have to do the same exact thing. Wear masks outside in the rain because you're being respectful to other people because you're wearing a mask. You're very respectful.
It's good to read more.
Very respectful, right?
Andrew Wakefield. You know Andrew Wakefield. He got banned from. He's one.
All the doctors who are speaking out are banned on YouTube and everywhere else. That's another thing a lot of people don't realize. You always worry about the doctors. I spoke to a doctor today at my gym, actually.
Dr. Wakefield.
And he doesn't believe in this thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Crap.
He doesn't believe in this. But in the same token, he's not allowed to speak out. I say, well, why don't you say something, you know? Why don't you talk about this? Why don't you post it on social media? Do you think it's, you know, you don't trust it and so forth? Well, he says, you know, there's a governing board with doctors, and if I say anything, I can lose my license. So how many people are willing to lose their doctorate license in regards to speaking out about this? A lot of people won't. They went to university for so many years to throw it all away. Do you think most people would do that? Would you do that? Probably you wouldn't, right? And you expect other people, doctors, to lose their license, lose their livelihood to speak out about this. Well, a lot of people don't want to lose their livelihood. And that's why there's a lot of people not speaking out. I work for myself so I can say whatever the hell I want. A lot of people aren't in the same boat. They'll lose their job immediately. There's censorship on so many levels, but everyone has their head in the sand thinking, oh, look, there's only a couple fringe conspiracy theorists at City Hall. Not the case. There's probably 10 times the amount of people that feel the exact same way that we do, or probably even more, but they can't speak out because they will lose their jobs. Oh, there's somebody who showed us some love. He told us to F off. You gotta like those guys. Anyways, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Oops.
But anyway, do you want me to send this to you?
I've seen it. I've read it. Yeah, I've read it. It's kind of made the rounds. But yeah, it is interesting for sure. Hopefully all of that doesn't come to fruition, but some of the stuff already has.
I know.
And we'll see.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
And then what are we going to... If it comes to light, yeah, we're proven right, but at the same time, do we want to be proven right that something that's going to affect everybody's life in such a negative manner? No, we don't.
No.
But then if we're not proven right...
this.
Yeah, and if we're not proven right, well, you're a conspiracy theorist. None of it happened. Well, hopefully it doesn't happen. I don't want it to happen, but a lot of things negative and weird and strange are happening in 2020.
Yes, absolutely.
If people haven't clued in, you know what I mean? It's not that... It doesn't take rocket science when you see people wearing those weird blue surgical masks out in the middle of a sunny day, in the rain, at night, and wherever else. Like, is that normal? Or you're protecting people? Who are you protecting when you're walking by yourself down the street by yourself? I don't understand where people's logic is. And Dr. Bonnie Henry doesn't say not to do it. She probably likes the whole control measures. I have no clue, but it is very odd. And here we are, 2020. All the crazy people are speaking out now because we've been researching this stuff for years and years. Now we actually see it coming to fruition. It's coming out of the ground and it's showing itself, right? The demons are showing themselves. So we're not going to stick quiet. Why would we? And if we're proven wrong, if I'm proven wrong, I have no problem saying, you know what? I made a huge mistake.
We
and
hope we're wrong.
We hope we're wrong, because if we're not wrong, we're all
wrong.
fucked. That's the problem. If we're not
Yeah.
wrong, we're all completely screwed.
Yeah.
So we're gonna find out, because we're all in this zombie movie, an episode of The Walking Dead together. We're all in the same episode of this nonsense, and it's not gonna end, because they told us why would they be building internment camps, which is a real thing. They actually have, like I said in my other video, the RFP request for proposal. Why would they be building those if COVID would be done by now? It's going to continue because they want it to continue. They want any reason to keep the charade going as long as possible. And
then,
that's it.
And then there's the tear gas.
Yeah, they bought
procurement document.
Yeah, they want to buy a lot of tear gas for
Dix
spring.
uncovered.
Yeah, it's spring. They want to buy a lot of.
March 31st, 2020, coming.
So basically,
2021. Sorry.
So we know when there's going to be more issues coming is by March. They know they're going to have a lot of problems with the citizenry speaking up, going to the streets. I guess. Yeah. Why would you buy so much tear gas? I don't know.
36,000 units on order.
That's a lot. They said it. I heard them say it's for practice and this and that. I'm like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Well,
we could just question things. There's nothing wrong with questioning things, and people think we're weird and crazy. Well, that's so be it. Nothing wrong. I've questioned things my whole life, and usually it's helped me out. Sometimes people might think I'm a bit of a crackpot, but I don't think I've ever actually made major mistakes in my life as a result of questioning the narrative from public officials and media and all that other stuff. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks for talking to. I appreciate it. It's on YouTube. Twitter and stuff like that. Yeah, it's all over the place.
So do you have a good product?
Well, on YouTube I have 12,000